Welcome everyone. This is Maulik Shah welcoming you in the event organized by curators. First of all, I would like to wish you a happy Global Testers Week. I would like to thank curators for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge and experience on this forum. I will be talking about how we as a QA can make chatbot works well. It's our duty that our end user are getting what we have intended to create. Okay, so let's go into the deep dive of that. What I will be covering. So I will try to cover high level understanding of how chatbot works, understanding the different types of chatbots, testing methods which QA team can perform, effective testing tips which can be helpful to you as a QA, shift right concept, limitation of AI testing, and the future of QA. First, understand the market, that how the market is evolving with respect to chatbots. So when I talk about market, let's understand the trend that how many people were using chatbot or developing the chatbot and how now each and every company or each and every customer is looking for the chatbot based solutions. So the trend was with respect to the market earning and getting a benefit or saving of money by having a chatbot. For an example, customer care of Vodafone, of Airtel. Earlier they were having bots, but now that has also been evolved that any small company or any small customer based service provider are also thinking that no, we should have a chatbot which gives our customer a satisfaction. So the trend has been evolved and it is going more than 10 times. It is expected to go more than 10 times by 2027. And that's why we are here for, that we as a QA team will have more responsibility to work and validate the chatbots and making sure that they work well. Now, when we talk about chatbot, I would like to add up few points that how chatbot works. So as a user, this is the architecture which more of I have tried to create and share with you. But first, a normal user tendency that how it works is that there are three major components which are called as database, NLP, and machine learning. These are the backside of what we are doing. As a user, what we will be doing normally, that we will be raising a request. When we raise the request, it certainly goes to the NLP. It do the basic level of understanding, extracting the response from their algorithms and giving us the response. So for front end, it is nothing but that typing something and we are getting the response. But in the back end, there are a lot of end components which are involved in this entire. So let's try to do the deep understanding of this, which may help you to understand the aspects of how these terminologies are working or how these models are working. And that will certainly help you to gain a more clarity with respect to certain terminologies. So few of the terminology you might be aware, which could be called as NLP, machine learning, and database. But how those works? When we talk about data, those are the heart of these chatbots because there are different types of chatbots which certainly depend on data, and the future is data. Everyone is talking about data. So let's understand that what is the importance of data over here. So data can be a data which has been stored by users. A data can be a knowledge bank, or data can be something which we have extracted from the external data sources and dump and make it available to the customer or the users. For an example, certain personalized data that my gender, my age group, my profession, those are a user-based data. There are certain knowledge-based areas which we can consider, such as in which area I am working, in which organization I am working. This all comes based on the data which I feed. Because if I change my job, I'll update certain data points. For an example, LinkedIn. So what it does is it try to fetch the data from whatever sources which are available and then show us the analytical data output from the database, which is either a cloud-based database, open source database, or external sources. Same goes to integration. Now there are two ways over here. One is if the data has been open to the public, For an example, if I have not made my salary public, then that's a personalized data which is not available on the external sources as well. But with respect to my experience, with respect to my skill, those data are data which are available in one or other way as a document. For an example, either on LinkedIn or either on any other portal or something like this, where I am sharing about my knowledge and experience, where I will be talking about that I hold 16 years of experience into the IT industry. So those are the data points which are available. So data is a place where more number of dependency for the chat. Let's talk about machine learning. Machine learning is nothing but models. When I take models, everyone talk about ChatGPT, Gemini, or even Microsoft, Llama. There are a lot of public models are available, machine-based models are available, and on the same side, they have their own tendency that how they are evolving themselves. So, for an example, a chatbot which is being used, which is using a ChatGPT as their model. So, what it will have a benefit is that whatever information chatbot having by X number of date that will be available for my bot. So again, it integrate with the database part that a dump of available data sources has to be available into my database. Next is another way of model where I will be dumping the data. My model will be created by me. When I talk about a model, it is nothing but where line of code to read certain data and giving a right source of information, we are calling them as a model. There are multiple type of chatbots in the market, but more of two categorization. We will be certainly talking more about that, but let's understand this part first. That a machine learning goes on. One is algorithm based, continuous evolvement based on user experience, and obviously third is training model. When we talk about training is nothing but it's supervised and it unsupervised. So for an example, you are expecting Excel formula. You are asking that in the query. You are getting the response, but you need formula for, so chatbot has given you the formula as a standardized that A, it start with column A and end with column C. But you need that particularly for column D to E. So how it works is you need to train the model that my data falls under column number D to column number E. So kindly update the formula. So obviously it get trained and it understand how we are supervising them. Whatever details we have received are not what we were expecting. We supervise them, we make them enabled, we understand them. Second way is algorithms which are decision making algorithms. For an example, you want to give an example of A is equal, or let's take E is equal to MC square as a formula. Now, this is a decision making formula. We cannot change it because it's hard code. Okay. So those are the decision trees where you cannot change the formulas. You just need to follow whatever is available. Yes. How you can evolve it is now I want to use my this formula for this method. Is it true? Can I use it? And the response which I am getting, can you validate it? So now you are making use of both for a decision making of the output which you were expecting. And third is the continuous learning, where you as a user asking both to perform certain activities. So this all goes on a strong prompt engineering front. But prompt engineering is the front end as a user. In back end, how it works, that's what right now we are talking about. When we talk about continuous learning, it is nothing but where we will be giving a certain level of input based on our method or our practice. For an example, we are making a lot of spelling mistakes. So that continuous learning will understand that when someone is typing this text, it I need to understand it as this. So that's where the role of NLP come into the picture. So the third terminology, which is called as NLP, is nothing but it gives a language such that which machine can understand. Okay, so it does the text analysis based on tokenization or lemmatization or even a recognition. Now, these are the three behavior of human that what I'm intending to do. So when you talk about tokenization, this is nothing but a breaking certain text which machine can understand. It do the text analysis and then give you the output. We cannot give entire text. So someone is writing a 3,000 line of code or 3,000 line of text and asking both that give me the output of this. In a normal terminology, NLP never give all those 3,000 lines to the machine. It analyze it, even if needed, it limitize it and making it understand that, okay, I need to reduce certain words. So that's where the terminology limitization comes, that it reduce certain level of text, making it understandable to the machine and giving it back to the server or database and giving the response back to the customer. And recognition is understanding the intention of someone, that what emotion. So for an example, we usually type that I'm a software tester and I want your help to write the test cases. But if a same statement written by a business developer or business analyst, then there will be a intention which will be changed. So NLP understand the human intention. We obviously need to making NLP understand with context and with prompt engineering that this is what I am expecting you to perform on behalf of me. So I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a software engineer with 10 years of experience, I am a software engineer with 0 year of experience, I am a software engineer with 2 year of experience. More we give the intention to the NLP or with better prompt engineering, more our chatbot will work or give us the better response. And same goes to the sentiment, that in with what sentiment we are trying to expect energy to work. For an example, you are a math teacher and you want chatbot to help you to prepare an exam paper. Now you need to set the intention, you need to set the sentiment that okay, this is what I'm expecting. Give the text such that that's how chatbots understand, how the NLP understand, does that information available with machine learning, does that data available with the database. If this all joined together, then only we will able to have the benefit of what we were expecting as a output of our chatbot. I hope this is clear the high level understanding on the backside that how the chatbot works. Now, since we joined for understanding the QA aspect of that, let's move on to that. So, as I said, there are two basically types of chatbots. One is a large scale bot like Gemini or ChatGPT, which are more of with respect to the large data set and continuous learning. And a normal tendency right now we are seeing is that everyone is moving or utilizing those large scale chatbots methodology or the data set and converting or creating a small size of auto responsive bots. So there is another mode which is called as the auto response bot where it particularly handle X or Y scenarios, which is a user centric scenario or website centric scenario or domain centric scenarios. And I have given the example of ticket booking, where someone is doing an inquiry and expecting the auto response of that whether my flight is on time or not, whether my flight does not get cancelled, it's on time, what is the frequency of my flight cancellation. So those are the analyses which are available at the backside of the database, and that gives you the response. So I have right now categorized the bots in two ways. Certainly, one goes as a large scale, and second is auto response. Auto response have a lot of dependency on these large scale models because more the data set available to the large scale, the same data set has to be on the small scale or the auto response. So we will go little deep dive into this. That I'll give certain more examples of. There are three way of chatbots which we can test. A chatbot can give us the response. Now, for an example, let's take an example of inquiry where I want to rent a store on for an event. So there is a event going on where all QA companies are expecting to come. and they want to understand that what is the procedure for that. Now, this is a basic chatbot where we will have a set of information dumped into our database. There is no smart response needed. For an example, the size are fixed, the store location is fixed, store map is fixed. So when someone is doing this kind of inquiry for renting the store for the event, the data set or the data which we were expecting is limited. So it does not require any smart analysis, algorithmic analysis. It is more of whatever is available giving the response. It's the same scenario where if you are inquiring in any website that what is the latest plan available for Geo Recharge, for an example, and then it gives you a one particular value. So where we are expecting certain limited response, we can have that as a basic kind of chatbot. Just stick to little complex, where someone is trying to book ticket using a chatbot, but he or she is expecting real-time pricing as well as a response from the bot. And if there is any change into the timing or if there is a price hike, the trend analysis of that. But again, that too based on real time. So let's take an example of IRCTC, where you are trying to book a train ticket or take a flight where a price is getting changed more frequently. Right now, even in railway, now they have now evolution that for certain category of ticket, they are increasing the price based on the traveling time. But flights are the best example for that, where someone is trying to book a flight ticket and he or she wants to know that how the price trend is going on, what is the availability, how frequently flight prices are changing for this particular website. So at same time, what it has to fetch the data from the real-time server. Now that real-time server either could be from company's portal or they may be stored at some other place. So there is an end integration will be required. So in basic scenario, we have seen that there is a set of data which we have dumped, and then we don't need to depend on any new data. Now, here is the case where we need to depend on the real-time data and real-time decision. Decision making is still not come over here, but real-time data analysis is part of that. So that's why this became a little complex scenario compared to the basic scenario. And now go to the advanced scenario where someone is asking. So this example which I have right now tried to take is Tesla, that autopilot mode car is taking a decision by its own. You don't need to guide or ask your bot to perform certain activity on a situation base. If bot will wait you to respond, there will be a high possibility of accident. So bot will take decision also on behalf of you that the moment you have given the authority to the bot, they do the car on auto drive mode. Obviously, it has been trained in the past with simulation of data that if this scenario happened, then perform this activity. If this scenario happened, then perform this activity. For an example, any obstacle coming in between a car, then stop the car immediately. If someone is going over speed, then try to give a lane change or give a side to that fellow. So this is how boat or autopilot responses will be taken care by the bot. So this is the advanced chatbot. So in these examples, what I'm trying to explain is that when we as a QA need to do a validation of these bots, first we need to understand that what type of bot I am going to test, because that makes you more clarity that my bot is in this category and I need to do the QA with this categorization. So now let's talk about our QA practices or how we have been performing the QA. So when we talk about a traditional testing versus AI testing or AI chatbot testing, let's first understand that how we were doing a traditional testing. So customer connects to the customer care about a delay of product delivery. So someone of us is reaching to the Amazon first and asking that, hey, my product delivery got delayed. I was expecting it to be delivered by today, 11 o'clock, and it has not received. I have not received it yet. So what a customer support executive will do, he or she will go check the relevant department, check the tracking system manually, validate that where the product is, inform the product guy that by when you will deliver it. It certainly take 1 or 2 day of time. As a customer, it will just update that, okay, sir, I will get back to you or our team will call back. But in backend, it might take at least a 1 day of time to give you the response. Now, with a trained analysis of chatbot, this can be advanced. How? So, a chat will automatically fetch the real-time data. So, customer connects for the delayed products. Now, the bot will validate that where my product is, how the how much time my engineer or my delivery boy will take to reach out to that person, because right now that delivery boy has 10 product to be delivered, my product number is 6, and he is right now in one of the area and he will take at least 2.5 hours to reach out to my place. So immediately bot will update that, sir, your product will be delivered precisely by 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. So this is how the advancement of AI can. So what has changed as a QA? So the speed. So we as a QA obviously need to understand the importance of how a testing can be performed. So we need to faster ourselves. We need to utilize as much as automation where we can do a real-time data analysis. We need to showcase that we need to improve our accuracy by learning certain concept of how these model are working, how the data-driven approach are working, how the data analysis is working, how AI is understanding the data of Google Maps or any other maps which company is using, how they are validating the trafficking system, how they are validating the delivery system. Those are the data. And based on those data analysis, our test case creation algorithms will also get changed. We cannot rely on simply a standardized test case writing. We also need to evolve ourselves to advance ourselves to write a such scenario with such methodology. Scalability. We need to understand that how our test case can be managed or executed with a larger level of request or response, because we need to quicker our execution. We need to do the same scenario, that a same scenario of customer delivery. If I want to validate the accuracy, then what I will do, I will hit the 10 requests at a time and see that whether I am getting 100% accurate result for each of the scenario. So I will create my test data. My test data will be having a different kind of methods. I cannot rely on a standardized data set. I certainly need to have a advanced data set or an advanced test data where I will be relying on how my bot is working or how my machine is working with respect to certain responses, and then analyze and create an advancement of them. And then obviously a personalization, because when we talk about any AI testing, we need to first understand customer experience. And when we as a QA working as a validator, we obviously need to understand how my end user or how my customer will be validating it. We need to tailor our response. We need to validate and make sure that how my customer is using the application or how my customer will be using the application. So this I am considering as a traditional way of testing versus AI testing, where we as a QA team need to evolve ourselves with certain methodologies. Now let's move on to how a QA can do the testing of a chatbot, because this is where we are here for. So there are two terminology I will give you. Okay, that first we need to understand that did we build the AI right? This is more of where we need to set up the mindset that when we talk about did we build AI, what our customer was expecting as the output of the chatbot delivery, what we were expecting, what algorithms we have used, what machine language we have used, and when I'm validating it, whether am I getting with right intended response, whether it is giving me any bias response, that it will always give me a recommendation of only one product. For an example, a customer has expected you to create a product or create a boat which can give me a suggestion of cheapest product which is available on the market for one particular domain. And does your product is always giving a response of Amazon? Does your chatbot always giving the response of Flipkart? There is a possibility that there are some bias even in the code which has been written as a part of machine learning. So we need to validate that as a QA, that whether am I getting those in a right level of way or not. So we need to do a two level of testing. That first, that did we build, when I say we, did my organization build the AI right for the customer who is demanding that? And obviously, the second terminology is did we build the right AI? When I say this is again a understanding that whether my AI is giving me the right level of contextual data point, right level of response, and whether that has a right level of intent. Just take an example of it. So when I say, did we build the right AI? If I'm expecting my AI to give me a response in a 10-second of time, am I getting? If I'm expecting my AI to give me a response in 2 seconds of time, am I getting that? So did we build the right AI, which is helpful to the customer? Or we have just created the AI chatbot, which is just giving me the response, but it is not of use. For an example, I'm expecting my bot to give me a response about the same example of product suggestion. I have suggested that give me a blood pressure calculation machine, which is a BP machine, which help me to validate the blood pressure of the patient. Now, instead of giving me the blood pressure machine, if my AI is giving me the stethoscope or giving me the advertisement or giving me the text that blood pressure is where it's a disease, for an example, where human is having some issue, then so it is not giving me the right level of response. Instead, it is giving me the definition of blood pressure. So what I was expecting is a machine which I can purchase, but what it has given me is understanding of that. So did we build the right AI? The answer is no over here. And did we build AI right? That answer is again no if we are getting a suggestion or response is not according to our user experience. So we as a QA need to consider five aspects as a tip which you can take away out of this today's session, that you need to make sure that while you are doing the AI chatbot testing, you first need to understand the context of your bot. That does the bot understand the context of the conversation which you are making, and what is the expected output of that? Does the bot giving you the right level of response which is as per the expectations or not? So we obviously need to first understand that what we are expecting, then only we will able to validate this. Third is user intention, that whether as a user I am writing something, does my bot able to understand that or not? So I am expecting bot to understand that what is my BMI, and bot understand that MI, which is a machine integration, for an example. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting body mass index. So does my AI bot recognize what user is trying to say? If not, then we as a QA need to highlight that point, that a bot is not giving the right level of response which we were anticipating. Same goes to adaptability, that does my bot adapt the new cases? Because everyone has their own way of typing, writing, and explaining. If I ask 10 people to write one line about, for an example, what is AI? Someone may write artificial intelligence. Someone may write actual intelligence. Someone may write something else. So everyone will have their own way of writing down the different definition. Or let's take a software testing. Then what is software testing? Now there will be a different kind of terminology which will be used. Someone may add a test data and test case and test plan. Someone may just add automation level of data points. Someone may add automation and CI/CD. Someone may just add test case. Someone may not add any of them and just say that it's a part of SDLC. So these are the different level of answers. Now, Does my bot understand the new scenarios? So for an example, all 10 answer which I received, does my, and if I'm dumping them into my bot that I receive 10 of these answers, does my bot understand my intention of asking this question as a QA or as experienced person or not? So I need to make sure that my bot understand this user intention, my bot understand this new data entry and take it further. And same as I say, ethical and bias testing. So this is a new terminology again I'm giving to you that when I talk about bias testing is nothing but where we as a QA need to make sure that our bot is giving the valid and ethical response. When I say ethical is nothing to related with security, but it is more of where my bot's intention. So when I say did we build the right AI, that's where this ethical and bias will come into the picture. That whether my bot is giving me the right intended response or not. If not, certainly I need to fix something. Let's talk about types of testing we can perform for the chat. We can certainly perform a manual QA where we will be giving the request and expecting the response and validating the different kind of types of testing. Same goes to automation where if it's a web-based boot, we certainly use the Selenium and Playwright or any other tool which is helping us to do a web level of testing. But Playwright I have taken because one of the trending tool compared to Selenium right now. Still, we have APM leading with respect to the mobile app verification. So if it's a mobile application which has been created, the board has been created only to have in mobile application, then we obviously need to do the automation using APM. And WebDriver IO is also using the patch of APM, but we can use that as well. There are certain other aspects also we can perform as a board testing. I would consider that JMeter, which is used for API testing as well as performance testing. So in both the terminology, I will consider JMeter. So then I talk about my boat's API response. I will certainly validate that using JMeter. I will even validate the security aspect of my API response and other part using JMeter or any manual activities that am I getting any unexpected values out of it? Right now, I'm not aware about any security testing tool for the AI chatbot, but if you or any of you are aware, you can certainly share those with me via LinkedIn as well. Error handling. So we as the QA need to do the validation thoroughly for the bot with respect to the error handling because this is one of the important aspects that if my bot has been created for a limited level of testing. For an example, I'm expecting my bot to give response only and only about that store booking system for the event. Then if someone is asking that where is my flight? So instead of giving a error, it should give me the response such that this data are not available or some better verdicts we can add that this bot has not been created for this. And if you need any information regarding store, you can ask. Other information, you can reach out to XYZ department or something if that company has those kind of responses. But certainly, again, user experience plays the crucial role over here. And same goes to the bot performance. That when I'm expecting my bot to perform certain number of requests in a certain period of time, there is some PPT texting issue. But again, you can consider it as a bug, which I have missed. But both performance and infrastructure testing is one of the key aspects we also need to consider that if I'm doing a request, in how much time I'm expecting my bot to be responding. Right now, my bot infrastructure is maybe, if I consider Amazon AWS, then maybe it's EC2 medium. And I'm expecting bot to be responding 10 seconds. It is responding in me 20 or 30 seconds. So let's increase the EC2 size from medium to extra large and see if I'm getting the response in less time. So those level of even infrastructure testing we can do along with the DevOps team that how we can make our infrastructure such that our user feels it better to have those kind of both or have those kind of auto responsive chatbots for their uses. Other than this, as I covered, like we can also do the performance testing of our bot using JMeter, where we can hit the number of requests, and I'm expecting my bot to give me a quicker response. But when I'm meeting it with 1,000 requests of same kind of question, using JMeter, having a text inside the Excel file or CSV file and read those different questions and expecting my bot to respond, whether I'm getting the right level of response, whether my bot is doing error handling over there or not, or whether my bot is getting crashed. Those kind of even performance testing we can perform using JMeter. Yeah, if you need any help on that, you can reach out to me. I have done a lot of performance testing of bots. Now I'm giving one more new terminology to you, which is shift right testing or shift right terminology. So when we talk about AI chatbots, one important terminology we need to understand is shift right. What is the meaning of shift right? We all aware about shift left testing. Let's understand the shift right testing. It is nothing but validating the QA scope for production monitoring and continuous testing. When I say this, both testing required a user experience. When I say user experience is nothing but how my end user is behaving. Now, we develop a boot. We as a QA have limited period of time where we have done maybe 100 requests and received the response. Now, my user, we have make it live. Our user came into as a end user and they have started using it and they are facing certain challenges with respect to our chatbot response. How we as a QA can evolve ourselves. So we need to do the shift right testing where we first need to understand the data or algorithms which are being developed by our dev team and then how my end user has used it. So do the analysis of different kind of user requests. As I said, someone may type, what is software testing? Someone type software testing is part of any software development type site. Software testing is a software. Software testing is a testing method or something else. Now, this is the same terminology where different people are asking in a different way. Whether my bot is giving the right level of response. If I want to understand that, I need to do a shift right testing that what my customer has done, how and what kind of question they have asked and whether my bot has given those things in a right way or not. So this is again new terminology which I'm giving you as a takeaway that start doing the shift right testing for the bots which you will be validating. Now we talk a lot positive about AI testing or AI chatbots. Let's understand the limitations as well because many a time we need to understand that where I need to stop as a keyword. And this is the example which I'll be giving that both has their own limitations that it 100% dependent on the data which we have feed to the server or to the infrastructure. So if today something happened about in Russia-Ukraine war or Israel war or in America election or in India or in Bangladesh or in Pakistan or any other country, if we are expecting our board to give us the latest trained data, then we need to feed those data. So when I talk Google, Gemini or ChatGPT even started with limited data set that we don't have latest data for everyone. We are having a limited data set. Now they are giving us a certain level of time frame and certain level of text limit to use it for the latest data and later on that get converted to the again old data limitation. Gemini still allow us because they have a good infrastructure and they have all data set of algorithms which they have built up since years. So they are not having such data dependency compared to OpenAI or any other communities. But dependency is a crucial part that whatever we have given to our bot, that only bot will respond. So that's a data dependency. So we need to understand that this data my bot will respond and this data my bot will not respond. Same goes to bias. The bot can give you a biased response based on the training which we have done on the algorithms. So as I said, examples of delivering the product, giving the suggestion of only Amazon. There is a possibility that someone may have trained a bot only to give a response about Amazon's product as a first priority. It might give you the responses, but it might not give you the responses as per normalized code. So that's a bias which could be possible. And third is the most important part, that regulatory compliance is, because if we so much rely on boat, there is a possibility that we may even go into the legal impact of utilizing or using the code base which has been used by us in the automation script which has been given by a bot. We might not aware that this is a copyright code or we should not use it, and it may even give us any compliance breaking or other part. Same goes to regulatory, that we may expect HIPAA compliance or we may expect CCPA compliance to be performed for one particular website. We are so much rely that we ask both that okay whether that is this or not, and it just give us an answer that yes it is, and if it, in reality if it is not, then we may go again into the legal complication of that. So we need to understand the regulatory compliances and validate the boat accordingly, that whether this boat fall under this compliance or not, and then perform the activities. Let's move on to one of the most trending question I would consider, that what will be future of the QA and will it replace our job? So I will give you two things. Boat is not to replace our job. Boat is certainly for enabling us to having a next level of knowledge. So use the bot as an enabler and not as a replacement. Use AI's bot, whatever trending chatbot or Gemini or ChatGPT or anything which you want to use. Make sure that you use them as your enabler and not as your replacement. Again, here we are not talking about this particular topic, but I just thought to cover that because a lot of my friends and colleagues ask me that, what do you think as will it replace our job? So the answer is certainly no if you are unlearning yourself. So what is the meaning of unlearning? Market is moving, technology is moving. We certainly need to move on the rhythmatic mode. We need to unlearn the old practices or old processes which we were been following. For an example, writing the 30 or 40 line of 30 or 40 steps of test case and then executing that and taking 2 or 3 hours of time has changed. Utilizing the board to take certain decision with respect to I have 5,000 test cases, which test cases I should consider for this particular reads. Just use the AI. Everyone is creating AI chatbots. Even Jira has started preparing it. Even Microsoft has started giving the plugins for the PPT as well as Excel. Even Google also giving the certain plugins which are open source. ChatGPT themselves are giving. So everyone is moving towards AI, and we need to accept the trend. We need to accept ourselves that things are moving, and let's adapt the technological change. If needed, unlearn something which we were doing wrongly. Accept that we may do something wrong and evolve ourselves. Leverage AI to take a decision making, leverage AI to learn something and make your life better instead of only and only depending or saying that no, AI is not. AI is the future. Trend is going towards that, and we need to accept and move towards that. Either it's a QA or any other profession. Everyone is adapting AI. There has been limitation as we talk, but there are benefits as well. Use AI even for test case writing. But as I say, make sure that you are not sharing the confidential information on the publicly. Make sure that you are not sharing out something which may you or your company put under a legal compliances. Use AI such that and this you can certainly consider as a disclaimer, that use AI such that you get enabled, your company's work get enabled, but you or your company does not go under any legal compliances. Okay. And with this, I am ending my session and keeping it open for you guys to share your thoughts. What do you think? Can we consider AI as a responsible queue? Because this is where I am seeing a important aspect, that will we rely on AI in the future? Will AI will replace our job? The answer all will be over here, that when we say this functionality has been validated using AI. So I'm seeing that even a future that I may be wrong, but anticipating that there will be a future, that there will be a vote for each individual. Even that bot will go and join the call or such kind of session on behalf of you, come back to you and say that, hey, Maulik, these are the learnings out of today's session, upgrade yourself or upgrade your knowledge and done. So even you might not even need to go and invest your time to attend some of the session. You never know the future will be. But yeah, in any case, more we are intelligent with respect to decision making, more we are powerful. So AI certainly can be an important asset, but on the same front, we need to understand that can we consider AI as our replacement as an responsible QA or as an experienced QA or as a knowledgeable QA? You can share your thoughts. Thank you again, QA Touch, for giving me an opportunity, and thank you all of you to joining this session. I wish you amazing day. Thank you.